Hi everyone, this is Jen from Around the World in 80 Cakes again, and today I wanted to talk a little about the importance of bringing your ingredients to room temperature when your recipe calls for it. Now this is often for cake and cookie recipes where it asks you to have softened butter, and there's a step in there where you cream the butter in a mixer or with a hand mixer. And what you're actually doing when you're creaming the butter, which is really just beating it for a really long time, is you're incorporating air bubbles. And those air bubbles act as leavening when you go to bake your batter. So the little bubbles will start to increase and expand and make your batter rise properly in the oven. So if you don't have the butter softened properly, you're not going to get those air bubbles in, because if it's too hard, they can't even get in there. And if it's too soft and your butter is melted, they won't stay. So having it just right is very important. So what I do, if I don't have time to just leave it sitting out on the counter for an hour or two before baking, or it's the winter and it's cold and it never comes to the proper room temperature, I use the microwave. What I've found is half power is the important key, because if you use full power to melt your butter, to soften your butter, it's going to do that. It's just going to melt. But if you use half power and do like 20 to 30 second intervals, checking it, give it the squeeze test in between, as soon as it starts to feel soft throughout the entire stick, you're good to go. If you get a little hot spot and it gets a little melty, just stick it in the fridge for a little bit until it firms up and you're fine. So once you do that and you've now creamed your butter, usually your sugar is incorporated in there, you have to add your eggs. Now having your eggs also at room temperature and have it be the same temperature as the butter is very important as well, because otherwise it's not going to mix properly. So for the eggs, what I do, instead of the microwave, I put them in a bowl and I put some warm hot tap water in the bowl to cover them up. So once I'm actually ready, I do that right at the beginning when I get all my ingredients out, and once I'm ready to add them, they'll be warmed up and at room temperature. So I just drain the water out of the bowl, break the eggs into the bowl once I've dried it out, and that way I can see if I have any eggshells. And the little trick I've learned is if you're trying to get an eggshell out, the best thing to do is wet your finger first and then try and dig it out. It makes it so much easier. I don't know why, but it's perfect. So your eggs are good. You've added those. Lastly, you're going to be adding your milk or your liquid ingredient, maybe it's sour cream, whatever your ingredient is that came out of the fridge. Again, it needs to be at room temperature. So for the milk, I put it in my glass measuring cup that's also microwave safe. This I usually do full power in the microwave, 20 to 30 seconds, give it a stir once it's done. That's usually enough to get it to room temperature. And then you can add that and you should be good. So any other ingredients you have, like cream cheese or things like that, I would usually go with the half power rule and use the microwave when you can. The other thing you can do, if you're, really hardcore baker like I am, is you can get one of these nifty little instant read infrared thermometers. You can basically zap all your ingredients and see what the temperature is, and you're really looking for 65 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit. That's around the right range to get your ingredients perfect. So I hope all those tips helped, and if you have any questions, always email me at jen@80cakes.com. Check out my website, 80cakes.com, for more tips, and I hope that works for you. Happy baking!